All right. We are live as we are talking horse racing as usual here on the Horsepower PSN channel. Thanks for tuning in. And we are live for the first time, actually, in several months. But we thought this was the perfect time to go live with the Travers coming up on Saturday. Big day, of course, at Saratoga. We have promised you also, since we were off the air a couple of weeks ago with all those rainouts and so forth, that we weren't going to be able to broadcast. So we have some bonus races for you today, meaning races 10, 11, 12, and 13 at Saratoga. First 13 is the Travers Stakes. So we're going to do this live here on YouTube. So normally we're available on Patreon for one of our bonus races. And each week we have a live show here for free. Excuse me, a free show on YouTube, not live. And but this week it's all on YouTube, all for free, and it's live. So hopefully we'll be able to we can participate with anybody out there that is watching our show. And gentlemen, how is the weather supposed to be on Saturday?
Beautiful. I don't think there's any rain in sight. So we had rain earlier in the week, but no rain scheduled for the predicted for the next 2 days.
Okay. And how about you, Chad? How's everything going with your stable?
Oh, pretty terrible.
Pretty terribly. Okay. Well, there's that. All right. So where are you now? You're in one of the stables?
Yes.
All right. See, the man is tirelessly at work at the racetrack. All right, let's go ahead and dive into these races now. And again, Travers Stakes is going to be the fourth of our 4 races, so let's go right to it. Let's talk about race number 10, and 3 of these are 7 furlong races. So we have 3 in a row at 7 furlongs. The Ballerina is the first one we'll talk about, the Grade 1, $500,000 purse, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds up. This should go off about 4:20 on Saturday. Taking a look at this one, the morning line favorite is the even money favorite Vava, John. Irad Ortiz Jr. on board once again. Back-to-back wins, coming off a 7 and a 6. Matter of fact, 3 races this year, John. 11, 7, 6. Really, this horse hasn't done anything wrong this year.
No, and Sherry DeVoe has a couple of wins at the meet. She's cooled off recently. She started off on fire, but the horse is clearly the fastest horse in the race. She's got time coming into the race. She's done a good job spacing the races, giving her time between races. She looks like she's going to be tough to beat.
What do you think?
I agree with that. I mean, she's about 350 yards away from me as we speak. She looks like she's sleeping comfortably. I think she's certainly coming into this as the horse to beat. But Saratoga is known as the graveyard of favorites, and I think it continues on Saturday.
All right, a little tip there. Chad is not going to be going in on Fava, so let's take a look at the rest of the top contenders. The first couple of horses at 1 and 2, John, are long shots. Do you like either one of these? Positano Sunset and Chi-Town Lady, with Positano Sunset coming off an 8 and Chi-Town Lady 3 9s out of 4 races this year.
Well, it was a lifetime top for Positano Sunset last time out. I don't particularly like her. It was a big race. It was at Churchill. Obviously, if she runs the race she ran last time, she'll have a shot to get in somewhere on the bottom, but I don't particularly like her. And Chi-Town Lady, another one that went back on Lasix last time, actually ran well, but I would look for her to react off of that race.
I mean, look, Chi-Town Lady ran the race of her life at Saratoga last year. If you're horse for course angle, I don't know where that race came from, and we haven't seen that race since. So I'm not a big fan. Positano Sunset did beat Vava last year, and chased her this year in a small field with not a lot of pace. There's a lot more pace to it this year, but I mean, I just looks to me like both are overmatched.
All right, the 4 and the 5, these 2 are some of the top contenders. We'll start with the 4, John. Society, Gaffleone on board for the 5th straight time. Coming off a 9 last year in June and August, back-to-back races, ran a 4 and a 3. Then in November ran a 12, and then look, he's out for about, 6-7 months. Ran that 9 late in June.
Yeah, I don't like this horse. The three that she ran last year was at Charlestown in a bull ring, and that's when she was on Lasix. And the race before that was the four at Ellis Park, when speed was complete. The track was a complete conveyor belt. Anyone that made the lead won. So I don't put too much faith in either one of those two races. I think they were both. One was with Lasix, one was bias aided, and at 4-1. I would take a stand against this horse.
I mean, her best race, the Cotillion. I mean, you got to go back a couple of years, but I mean that was a phenomenal performance. She battled them out. She's been trying to get back to it. She hints at it. She's come close, but I just think her best effort is behind her, and she needs her best effort to win this race.
All right, the 5 is Cilia, or Scylla. This is a William Mott trained horse. Castellano on board. The last 4 races, John, are 7, 9, 7, 9.
Yes, but the problem with this horse is that she was just in California, so she's been from the East Coast to the West Coast and now back to the East Coast. It may be too much, too quick, too soon. Listen, obviously she has a shot. She never really runs a bad race. But if you're using Vahav or whatever, the favorite, it's hard to play a 3-5 exacta because there's really no value in that number.
Well, is the value when it's 5-3? Look, I'm going to make Zilla my top selection. I like the cutback. I think 7 Ace is going to hit her between the eyes. Now, look, it's possible. You can say that Judman wants to keep their top 2 horses away from each other, and you have Idiomatic running Friday and then personal ensign. So this is the likely grade 1 spot as a backup plan. But she broke her maiden sprinting 3/4 coming off the pace at Keeneland. She runs fast, and she's going to have plenty of pace to close into with Money's Gold and Society, who know nothing else but to go. She can chase Vava as a target, and she can pass her weight with that added stamina. And I agree with you, John, if it was another trainer or another opportunity, you're right. You worry about that West Coast bounce. But Bill Mott, we've talked about this on the show before. He won with Arthur's Ride to Whitney. I have faith in him that he's not going to run the horse back unless he felt like she came back well. And to be honest with you, it wasn't really as hard a race as it looks because the Dare Manor was so much the best that she was just second. It wasn't like she battled to the wire or anything like that. Adair Manor crushed her last time out in California.
They are supplementing Scylla to get into the race, so that's got to count for something. They're putting money up, so.
And one thing, too, they notice is this horse has gone up and down over the last 6 races. Just by a couple points, but...
But it's time for her to move forward. 7-9.
It is.
7-9. So she's time to run the 7.
What is this, lady fierceness? Relax.
Then we've got a long shot to 6. No single digits. No, this isn't, even though this is a Chad Brown horse, you don't see anything here, do you, John?
No, I think she's too slow. She's improving, but I don't think she's good enough.
Shit-a-booty.
Shit-a-booty.
Chad? No? Long shot?
I've never been a fan of this horse. I'm not going to be a fan of this horse on Saturday.
A seed. An 8-1 shot. Here's Chad Brown again with Flavian Pratt at 8-1. So you have to take notice of that, especially since the last 5 races, John. The horse has gone better pretty much each race. Running a 9. Last race at Saratoga had that 3-race win streak snap, but still came in second running a 9, and you're getting 8-1.
Yeah, listen, she hasn't done anything wrong, but she's really a little slow. I mean, Chi-Town, the 2-horse who's 20-1, has a couple of 9s, 3 9s this year out of the last 4 races she's run. This horse only has 1 9, and that was last time out. Chi-Town Lady is 20-1. This horse is 8-1 and may go off shorter with Pratt and Brown.
We're going to hear that combination a lot on Saturday. Flavian Pratt elected to embed himself in Chad Brown's camp on Saturday. So we're going to hear that Flavian Pratt, Chad Brown a lot. Look, my question is kind of away from this race, but do you remember the last time that a trainer won the Saratoga meet with as few wins as we're going to have Chad Brown win with this year? He's at 24 wins. We got a week left of the meet. I think last year was like 47, 48.
Wow.
I mean, this is crazy.
So the percentage was a lot higher as well then.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people struggling. We're going to talk about a few others. So Steve Asmussen's got 2 wins at the whole meet. He's got Society, got Gun Pilot in the next race. It's interesting.
Okay.
Even Fletcher only has 15 wins, so
Yeah.
he does make a good point.
And the 8 is Money's Gold, and this is a Velasquez-Pletcher combo. Coming off an 11, ran a 7 in June. Also had a 4 last March. We haven't seen the 4, of course, since then, but did get back to the 7 in June, John. Unfortunately, went back to an 11 right after that.
Well, the 7 was off a layoff, and it was also with Lasix. The 11 last time out was without Lasix, and she will not be running with Lasix on Saturday. The only reason I would consider using her is because I'm negative on a lot of horses in the race, but the horse is 10-1, so I can understand using her on the bottom somewhat.
IREB comes off, obviously, to ride Vava. John Velasquez is going to take a board for the first time. She needs the lead. And I don't know what happened last time, why they were content to not have her on the lead. She needs to be in front. Now, if she makes the lead, you're going to have a ton of speed chasing her because there's a lot of speed in the race. And you'd think that she's outside, she's drawn well. But all of her victories actually came when she had a low inside post, either 1, 2, or 3. Anytime she's been drawn outside of 3, she's lost. It's a very interesting thing. It almost seems to me like she needs to break, go, and get over to the inside rail, and then let whatever happens after that happens after that. But I don't know how she didn't make the lead last time, and I don't quite understand why when she's drawn outside the other speed, she doesn't run well.
All right, pick time. John.
3 over 258. Vaha over Chi-Town Lady, Scylla, and Money's Gold.
3 over 2, 5, 8. Chad, you've got the 5.
Yeah, I'm going to go Vava over Zilla, and then I'll throw in the 1 Positano, and I'll throw in Money's Gold underneath.
Wait, you're going to go with who?
5 over the 2 with the, or was it the 3? What are the 3? 5 over the 3 with the 1-8.
With the 1-8. 5 over 3, 1-8. John's 3 over 2, 5, 8. And I will go with the 5 over the 7. All right, so that's race number 10. By the way, Ed Burke, I see him in the chat. So, yes, excellent. Appreciate. If you got any questions or anything else to share on the show, Ed, let us know. All right, here we go. Race number 11. This is, and again, another 7 furlong, grade 1 race, 4-year-olds and up. This would be about 5 o'clock-ish on Saturday. And the morning line favorite is going to be, looks like, what? We got the 3. We got the 1, 3-1 Shotgun Pilot. We also have the 6 Mulligan at 8-5. Those are the top 2 contenders here, morning line wise. Let's start with the 1, Gun Pilot John, a 3-1 shot. Ran a 6 in April, but since the 6, we've seen an 8 and a 12. So this horse is actually going the wrong way.
He does have some time off, but I don't really like him. I mean, I think the best he could run is an 8, and I think you could get 4 or 5 horses in this race that could run the 8. At 3-1, I would play against this horse.
Is there anything to it, though, John? I mean, look, let's look at that last race for what it is. That was Belmont State at Saratoga, where inside speed dominated. And he's a closer that came from behind and goes out wide. So can you kind of excuse the 12?
Absolutely.
And the thing that I have that I don't know, and you'd explain the sheets to me. It's not a T because there's not trouble trip, but is there anything in the sheets that shows, hey, look, there was a big bias on this day that was inside speed?
No, but it shows you that he was wide.
Okay.
You have to keep your own biases. So you know for a fact that the inside was good and speed was the name of the game. So you could incorporate that, and then you excuse the last bad race, and his 3 previous races give him a shot. But the real problem I have is Asmussen horses, they're just not running. They're just not running. So.
They're running everywhere else. They're just not running in Saratoga.
Yeah, well, but that's where we're betting, Saratoga. So.
I mean, look, I'm going to give this horse a little bit of a chance just because he was very impressive on Derby Day. So if he gets back to that race, even though the number was a little bit higher, and I've made this mistake many times before. kind of challenging the sheets, being like, "Oh, that number's wrong. It can't be right." Visually, he was so impressive, and normally the sheets ends up winning out in that spot. So I won't make him my top selection. I show the respect to the sheets, but I will use him.
Okay. The next two horses are long shot horses. The two is Twisted Ride. Ran a 6 in July, followed that up with a 9. So that was a 4-point new top in July. And then Full Screen to 3 is coming off an 8. Matter of fact, ran a 9 a couple of starts before that. Ran a few 9s late last year as well. So either one of these long shots interest you, John?
Well, Full Screen, certainly you could make some sort of a case for the using it supers or tries. I mean, Mark Cassidy has just been on fire. He won another race, I think, today. He's like 12 for 40 at the meet. Talk about hot trainers. Well, this guy is about as hot as it gets. And the horse is 20-1. So if you wanted to make a case for him, I certainly could see it.
If you want to make a case for hot, how about Dylan Davis, jockey Dylan Davis, who won again today? And if Greg Wolf on Fox says one more time that he's the hometown kid from Saratoga having the meet of his life, we'll hear it in this race, I guess. So, he's just making every right move right now. I mean, Dylan can seemingly do no wrong while some jockeys are struggling. And we do have to mention that there are going to be some jockeys that are tired. There's 7 jockeys leaving Saratoga tomorrow to go to Charlestown to run at 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30 at night. By the time they get back to Saratoga, it's going to be 2 o'clock in the morning. And then first post is 11:30. So these jocks are going to be exhausted. And it's the Irad, Jose, Ramon Vasquez, Junior Alvarado, Rosario, Luis Saez. It's a big list of who's going over there. One of them that's not is Dylan Davis. He's going to sleep in his bed. He's going to wake up. He's going to have the same routine. And he's going to be live.
All right. So keep an eye on Full Screen as a live long shot. All right, now we go to Baby Yoda, the 8-1 shot, the 4-horse, who won that Grade 2 race at Saratoga in June, running an 8. Had back-to-back 8s, actually. Then ran a 10 last time out in the in the Alfred G. Vanderbilt race. That was a very disappointing start there. What about Baby Yoda, John?
Well, you talk about horses for courses. This horse absolutely loves Saratoga. His best races have always been here. But last time out, he really disappointed. He ran a 10 that day off of the 8s. Certainly should have run better. And everybody knows he loves Saratoga. I understand it's Mott, and Mott's another guy who's doing well up here. I don't think he's going to be 8-1. I think he'll be shorter than that. So for that reason, I would try to beat him.
He's a fan favorite. Always takes money because of his name and Baby Yoda. He's run so well at Saratoga. He outruns everybody's expectations every single time. Did he get back to life, come back to life last time out? Look, Rocky 1 is a great movie, and they say sequels aren't as good. Rocky 2 was good. Rocky 3 was good. Rocky 4 was good. Once you get to the Rocky 5 and the Apollo Creed kind of movies, and maybe Baby Yoda is on his Apollo Creed kind of phase. So we're going to fade Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda does get upgrade with Gaffleon on board, so we'll see if that happens too. Matter of fact, first time, right? Gaffleon, well, I don't know if this horse is obviously very experienced, so I don't know how long ago he might have been on board, but not for the last 10 at least. Okay, next up, Run Classic, the 5-horse, Castellano on board here. Coming off an 11 and a 14. Ran that 14 in Dubai. That was a disaster. Came back with an 11 after that. Before that, had a 9 in February in that win at Gulfstream Park, John. And before that, he ended his 2023 year in May when he ran a 6. But that 6 must have done something.
Don't you see, the sheet shows you that there's something wrong with this horse. 2 years ago, he had 4 races. Last year, he had 4 races. The good news is this year he's making his 4th race, and it's also second time for Jose D'Angelo, who's a terrific trainer. The problem I have with this horse is that he's only 5-1, and he hasn't run a number this year that's even close to be competitive here.
Yep.
At 5-1, I have to play against him.
Look, he was heartbreaking in Dubai. He trained so well going into that race. And kind of broke a little flat. And I mean, the horse that won, it was shocking how well he ran Russian Secretary at Tuz. But he never really got involved. He was trying to make a little move at the top of the stretch, and just didn't really kick in. And then Giroux kind of ended him by bumping him really, really hard. Probably should have got dazed for that, which he didn't. I like to see him come back. They talk about the Dubai bounce. I thought he came back really well. He wasn't ready for that race. It was a prep for this one. He ran the good second off a horse who had recent form. I don't like to see that he has one published work in the 2 months since then, but he's training well. Jose D'Angelo seems like he's kind of figured him out. He was trying to eat the pony for all he was worth this morning jogging. I just got a feeling that he's gonna run a big race, and I think that 5-1 goes up. Even though Jose D'Angelo wins a lot of races, he's 1 for 15 at the meet, and I just think that he doesn't take the money that a Chad Brown or a Todd Pletcher will take here at Saratoga. At Gulfstream, he might stay the 5-1, but I can see this horse drifting up anywhere to 7-1 to 10-1, and at 10-1, I think he's a good bet.
Okay, well, we'll wait for that. All right, now one of the top morning line contenders is Mulligan, the 6-horse, 8-5, proud on board, John. And this is definitely, I mean, sheet-wise, you can see why he's one of the horses to beat. He's pretty much done nothing wrong from the 14 in February of 23 all the way to the 5 last time out in July. Everything is pretty much been straight ahead, go forward. We can understand why this maybe should be the horse to beat.
You're right. I mean, he has 8 lifetime starts, and each race is better than the previous one. So he's never gone backwards. He did run a 5 last time out. He's certainly the horse to beat in here, but I like a different horse in here. And while this horse could certainly win, but he's going to be the big favorite, and I would take a shot against him.
Horse has done nothing wrong. Look, the favorite loses this race a lot. Last year, Elite Power was finally defeated by Gunite, who has been chasing him for so long and so long and so long, and he finally got the victory. Mulligan is a deserving favorite in this field, and I think he's the horse to beat. His last race was nothing but sensational. He made it look very, very easy. Trainer Rudolph Brissett does a good job. He's been a part of nice horses before, previously in the barns of Patrick Biancone and Bill Mott. He's been on his own for a while. He trained Justified before anybody else. A lot of people forget that. He knows what he's doing, and this is a nice horse. And it wouldn't shock me if he wins this race and the King's Bishop back-to-back races. He has the horses in good form. They've been pointing for these races, and I think he's certainly more than capable of getting the job done.
All right, and we've got a long shot, Angkor, the 7, a 12-1 shot with Red Ortiz Jr. on board. Coming off a 7, John, last time, had a couple of 8s, November and May. A clunker in between, but it's coming off a 7 at 12-1.
Well, the trainer really comes to Saratoga every year to play. I mean, he's got 11 starts with 5 wins in 2 seconds. So anything this guy sends out is ready to run. You know, the 18 starts back was without Lasix, but so was the last race. This horse I would use underneath with whoever I decide to key, because he's going to be every bit of 15-1. And again, the trainer's too good to leave out, and Irad Ortiz is riding, and he draws a good outside box going 7 furlongs. And I'll be using this horse in my exactas.
Greg, just a slight collection. When you survive a plane crash, like him and the owner did this winter in Australia, there's no such thing as a clunker. They survived a plane crash. The horse can never. It's inconsequential. I agree with John with everything he said. This is a horse that you have to pay attention to. He ran a good second to close the game. Sugar, who ran well in California last time. I have no problems with this horse. I just don't know if he's good enough. But it's a great story.
Yeah, having the horse in the exacta to finish second or even third, depending if you're going to be using a trifecta, because the horse has never won at this distance or at Saratoga, but has been in the money in both circumstances. All right, and then the 8 is one of the top contenders at 9-2, Cagliostro. And we've got Jose Ortiz on board. And this is a nice little sheet line this year, John. 9, 8, and 7. So
Again, this is Sherry DeVoe, and I have her in the previous race, the 10th race, so I hope she comes to play on Saturday. But I love this horse. I love the line. I love the cutback. Obviously, he's going to have to improve a little to beat Mulligan if Mulligan decides to repeat his 5. But he's 9-2, and Mulligan is 8-5. He's also getting 4 pounds from Mulligan, so therefore this will be my top selection.
Talk about come to play. Those owners, Wentham Racing, who have bought a lot of top horses over the last 3-4 months, internationally and domestically as well. They've had a lot of success in a short period of time. And these horses are all supposed to eventually head over to the Middle East for the Saudi races and Dubai races next year. They're building quite a team right now. I'm not sure that this horse wants to go 70s. I think they might run him off his feet. Now, you're right, Cherie's winning a lot of races, but I don't like this move. I don't like this cut back to 7/8. I don't think it's in his wheelhouse, and I think these other horses are faster than him, and I don't see him closing into him.
John, it sounds like, of course, you've already picked your winner. What else are you going to go with?
I like the 8. I would put him over the 3, full screen, the 6 Mulligan, and the 7 Anchor. 8 over 3, 6, 7, and obviously your main punch should be 8, 6, 6, 8.
Chad?
Yeah, I'm going to not get too cute. I'm going to take Mulligan on top. I'm going to play him with Run Classic and the Asmussen horse.
That's the 5 and the 1. And I'm going to go with the 6 as well, over 3, 4, and 7.
You have 6 over 3, 4, 7?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
All right, so that is race 11. Now let's move on to race number 12, another 7-furlong race, the H. Allen Jerkins Memorial. This is a Grade 1 $500,000 race for 3-year-olds, 5:30-ish on Saturday. And looks like the morning line favorite is the 8, I believe. That's what it looks like here. It's 7-2, even though Bookham Dano is just slightly ahead of a couple other horses. But let's start at the top. The first couple of horses, John, are 8-1. World Record and Speak Easy. Speak Easy started her career with a 7, 11 last time out. World Record has actually drawn a pretty nice sheet line, 14, 13, 11, and 8, getting better each time out.
Yeah, I mean, she has a shot. He has a shot. He's never done anything wrong. He's breaking from the rail. Again, this is Rudolph Brissett, who has other horses previously that we talked about on the card. The horse is fine. He has a shot. I think there are better horses, though, in the race.
Certainly was good the other day. There was an excuse two races back. He broke in a tangle and rushed up. So if you forgive that race, if you throw a line through it, the race before and the last race put him right in the thick of things. And I think the breaking from the rail is not a detriment to him. That being said, the other horse we just talked about, the 2 horse, Speak Easy, is going to be my top selection at 8-1. I like this horse. He can be anything. He won on Pegasus Day in a really, really, really salty field. Needed some time off, came back. And I don't think he was 100% ready for the allowance race here. And he dominated. I mean, when they finally pushed a button, it was how much he wanted to win by. He's a very special horse. He reminds me of a horse named Nashville, also for similar connections. That horse was trained by Asmussen, but only by Windstar. And this horse he gives me Nashville-like feels. Eventually, he might want to go further, but if he wins this race and then goes to the Malibu or something like that, wouldn't surprise me. This is a very, very talented horse. And if you're going to give me 8-1, I'm going to be all over it.
Alrighty, so there you go. That's our first sign that Chad's in love with a horse this weekend. Speak Easy. By the way, Ed Burke says, Chad, have anyone in this weekend? If so, good luck.
I do not, but thank you.
The 3 is the
I should say, there's a horse I bought for $40,000 named Vincy Girl that's running in the Charlestown Oaks tomorrow night. So we're rooting for her for $750,000.
Vincy Girl. What race is that?
I don't know. It's at like midnight in West Virginia. It's the Charlestown Oaks.
Charlestown Oaks. All right, let's go with the 3 domestic product, a 9-2 shot. Chad Brown and Flavian Pratt combo coming off a 5. John, that is a 5-point new top. So there's a definite bounce factor here. Is that going to scare you away from domestic product?
No, the 9-2 is going to scare me away from domestic product. There are horses that are just as fast that are a lot longer prices. I don't like this horse.
This just screams like, well, we're in Saratoga. Let's run somewhere we don't think he's good enough for the Travers. We've come to that point. Let's try the Ellen Jerkins. I don't quite understand this move.
We have a long shot, Vetriano, the 4, a Brad Cox trained horse. A couple of 8s this year. It's not that's not all that bad for a 20-1 shot.
No, I'm using this horse underneath. He has 3 starts. He's never done anything wrong. He makes his 3rd start back off of a layoff. He's just coming off of Lasix, but guess what? He's 20-1, and he could run a 6 off of this line, and a 6 will get you in.
He seems like he's starting to figure the game out, right? I mean, those 2 races were good, but they're not as brilliant as Speakeasy was. And I know they're both coming off Lasix, but I'm going to side with Speakeasy over this horse.
Hey, we've got a Bob Baffert sighting. Prince of Monaco, John Velazquez. This horse over the last 3 starts has gone 13, 10, and 7. The 7 was the Grade 1 race when he finished 2nd, and that was early June, running a 7. So what about Prince of Monaco, John?
Well, he ran Belmont Weekend up in Saratoga, and he was in a race against Bookham Dano, and I absolutely loved Bookham Dano that day, but Prince of Monaco was the better horse. He lost all chance at the start. It was a totally speed-favoring track. He was dead last, and he came flying to miss by a neck. This is going to be my top selection. I like the 9 as a 2-year-old. I like the 7 he ran first out. And again, he had big trouble in that last race. I think he's making a forward move off of it. He's been pointing for this spot. I like this horse best in the race.
Well, Vava was 350 yards to my right, and Prince of Monaco is about 150 yards to my left. Look, I think he's a nice horse. I agree with everything John's saying. I just don't know. He lacks the brilliance. He was the best horse. He was better than Bookham Dano that day. But he's not like some of those really, really fast, shocking, powerful Bob Baffert horses. Looks okay. I saw him schooling in the paddock yesterday. Today. I don't know what day it is. It just doesn't do enough for me. I think he can win. I think he's part of the exacted trifecta, but I'm going to try and beat him.
Okay, the 6 is a 5-1 shot. Timberlake, another Brad Cox horse, but this horse has unfortunately been quite slow after running an 8 in November in that Breeders' Cup race. Since then, John, this year we've only seen a 10 and 2 12s.
Well, 2 of those races were at Oakland, so maybe you could excuse him. The last race was at Monmouth. I don't like this horse. I think he's been a disappointment for the Cox barn, and at 5-1. This is probably, by the way, his best distance. I don't think he wants any part of the 2-turn races. He may be best at a 7 furlongs or a flat mile, but the price just isn't right. He always takes money. 5-1, I have better options.
And by the way, his worst race was his only race at Saratoga when he ran an 18.
He had all kinds of trouble in that race. I wouldn't put much into it. You could excuse it.
That race was a very, very weird race with a very weird winner that has never won again. Look, we hated the horse in the hospital. I didn't think he wanted to go that far. I agree with John. I think 7/8 is his best distance.
All right, and then we have
the Brad Cox barn just hasn't been firing on all cylinders. There's been some riders changes. There's been some other things going on, and I think the thing that we've seen is when things are firing at all cylinders. We talked about the Phil Bowers and the meet that he's having, the Bill Mott. It's consistency. And when things change in a stable, sometimes it can be the tiniest little thing, a different bridle, a different feed, whatever. There's a reason why barns go through ups and downs in this roller coaster world we call the horse racing. And as a handicapper, I think John's right. You look at the sheets and everything, but you ride with the hot hand sometimes rather than keep going down the well on barns that are struggling.
For the most part, Otto the Conqueror, the 20-1 shot to 7 with Gaffalione on board, really didn't show anything at all until the last couple of races. He ran 11 in June. That was a win in an allowance race at Churchill. Came back at Churchill and finished second and ran a 9. But that's all we've seen. But at least it's the last 2 races, and the horse is 20-1.
Well, the last 2 races were sprint races. The 3 previous races, or 4 previous races, were all route races. So he is sprinting on Saturday, but I don't like this horse.
I just don't think he's fast enough.
The 8 is Bookham Dano. As you mentioned before, Bookham Dano. Matter of fact, Bookham Dano this year has run a 9, 2 8s, and a 6, all going in the right direction. That 6 came last time out in that Monmouth win. 7-2 shot, Castellano on board for the first time.
Yeah, again, I loved him last time because I thought his line was perfect. He had 10s as a 2-year-old, and he's never really gone backwards with the exception of the 13 last year when he was asked to go a mile. The horse has never done anything wrong. That being said, I just think Prince of Monaco was the better horse last time out, and I think everyone saw that Bookham Dano beat him. So I'm assuming Bookham Dano will probably be shorter than Prince of Monaco. But he's fine.
Struggled in the last race. I know Derek Ryan wasn't happy with the ride from Samuel Marin. But, I don't know. You want to see a little bit more. You just want to see, he's run good races. He's run very good races this year. But the fact that, look, and I know he's cross-centered in Charlestown. And there's a thought he might go there. And Jose Ortiz was named to ride on him in Charlestown. The fact that he wanted Irad, and Irad chooses to ride Todd Pletcher here. And I know it's Todd Pletcher, and I know he's going to ride for him over Derek Ryan most times. But Todd would have let him off if he wanted to ride Bookham Dano, I would think. And he sticks with that horse because I think that horse shows signs of brilliance, where Bookham Dano shows that he's a cool, gutsy gelding to steal Tom Durkin's lion for funny side. I just think that there's a couple horses here that might be brilliant, and this could be their coming out party. And I think we might have seen the best of Bookham Dano.
Okay. Now,
John, if Bookham Dano runs his best number on the sheets, is he a winner no matter what?
No. His last race was a 6. So, other horses could run the 6 in here.
Right, that's
Prince Monaco could run the 6. Vetriano could run a 6. Speakeasy has a 7 first out. So, no, of course not.
I could see Prince of Monaco's odds shorter than Bookham Dano based on Baffert.
Yeah.
No.
No, but everyone saw the trouble last time out, and everyone saw that he only got beat a length. So, I don't know. Maybe.
The 9 is a long shot. Reynolds Channel, the Mott Rosario combo. I mean, the horse has actually been improving. 9 last time out in a 7 furlong win, breaking his maiden. But this is a horse that has only run in maiden races.
I don't like this horse. He's going to bounce off the 9 he ran last time out.
I like the fact that at least he broke his maiden. Some of these owners take shots running these stake races with maidens. So at least he broke his maiden last time. It took his 7th time to do it, but this is not for me.
And Jefferson Street's a 12-1 shot, ran at 8 a couple of starts ago at Saratoga, came back in the grade 2 and ran at 12.
Correct. I don't like him either. The next horse is the interesting horse in the race. This horse, I guess, was privately purchased. Chad probably would know better than us.
Yes.
But look who took over, a guy that's on fire at this meet.
Hey, he's privately purchased from owners that don't really want to sell. I tried to buy 2 horses from them last year, and they didn't want to sell. That Holly Crest Farm in
How much did
Jersey,
this horse
that
go
owns
for?
Transport.
Do you know how much this
I
horse
don't know, but it had to be, my guess is at least $500,000. At least, if not more. And
Well,
I mean, look, but it could be off the sheet number because if Bookham Dano got a 6, what did he get?
He got a 7.
Yeah, so, I mean, how much lower is that from what he ran before?
He ran an 8, 2 starts back.
Wow.
Yeah, he's getting good. Listen, he's never gone backwards. 15, 13, 8, 7. And now he gets, I think, a positive barn switch. I know the guy that had him does well at Monmouth, but Mark Cassie, again, every horse he's sending out at this meet is running big.
Okay. I guess we're done.
That's
so,
it.
John, you got the 5?
5 with 4, 8, 11.
And Chad's got the 2.
I'm going to take Speakeasy. I think Prince of Monaco can run a big race. I have respect for some of these others in the race, but I really, really like a Speakeasy.
That's it? Just the 2?
No, I mean, you can play him with, like I said, you play him with Prince of Monaco. You can play him with, who was the second to bottom that Jonathan skipped over?
Oh, Jefferson Street?
Yeah, look, he's run 2 races this year that put him right in the thick of things. I'll use him as well.
2 over 5-10. And I'm going to go 8 over 1, 4, and 11.
Who's the 8?
Book him, Daniel.
All right. Here's the big one, everybody. The Travers. Before we get to the Travers, John Francis. Best show in the business. John and Chad are the best handicappers around. But let's give Greg some props for making this all happen. Great host. Great comment.
Must be your brother. Must be your brother.
John Francis. All right. Mile and a quarter. This should go off about 6:10. $1.25 million race. Let's get it started in order with the girl. She. Torpedo Anna. Going up against the boys at 3-1 shot. Running an 8 and a 7 the last 2 races, both at Saratoga, John. She's won 3 straight Grade 1 races. What do you think about Torpedo Anna?
Well, the line is certainly nice. This year she has an 11. Then she ran on a wet track, a 13, followed by an 8 and a 7 in her last 2 races. I guess she has a shot to run the 7, but she would have to run the 7 because there are fast horses in this race. The problem with her is going to be the price. She's going to be short because everyone's, rooting for the filly. It's a whole big
Free
deal.
posters, too. Free
What
poster
happened?
giveaway. Free poster giveaway. Torpedo Anna
Including
posters.
the poster and everything else that comes with it. She's 3-1. I would use her with a horse that I'm king, but I would never key this horse. No.
They got to stop with the Rachel Alexandra comparisons. I love this filly, but let's not compare her to Rachel Alexandra, okay? She's undeniably Torpedo Anna. She's a really nice filly. The ride that Brian Hernandez gave her, both in the Oaks, the Oaks, the Acorn, and last time when she missed the break, were nothing short of sensational. He's pushing all the right buttons. She
How about
doesn't
the ride
look like a filly.
the ride he gave her at Oakland was pretty good too.
Yeah,
to tell you the
yeah.
truth. I mean, he
Listen.
rides this horse unbelievable.
He fits her to a T. I think if he wins this race, he very well, despite the fact that Irad Ortiz is going to end up with 1 million more victories than him, and Flavian Pratt will end up with a lot more stakes wins. If he wins this race, I'm going to say it right now, Brian Hernandez might win Eclipse Award for Jockey of the Year. That might be on the line here. At the end of the day, though, as far as the horse herself is concerned, here's the positives. She doesn't look like a filly. She doesn't act like a filly. I don't feel like she's going to get intimidated. Even breaking from post 1, hopefully she breaks a little better than she broke last time. She's tactical. Some of these other horses, they seem like they need their pace a certain way. She doesn't care. She's very, very adaptable. Here's the negative. She's coming out of her skin. She's running off. She's very, very aggressive. They wanted to take her to the gate the other day, and they weren't able to because she was so, so strong. It could be a good sign, but she's not. There's no off switch on her right now. And you want a horse who's going to listen. Because if she doesn't listen to 75-year-old Danny Ramsey who gets on her every day, she's got to for sure listen to Brian Hernandez. Because if she's going to get headstrong in the race and she's going to try and run off with the likes of Fierceness and Dornock and some of these other horses in the race, she'll lose the race. For me, she's the horse to beat. And the only way that she loses is if she beats herself. But the way she's acting, she can. So she's a must-use for me. But let's see how she is in the paddock. Let's see how she is in the post parade. She's been very, very ultra keyed up over the last week.
All right. Next up.
Information you're not going to get on any other show. I promise you that.
Well, that's why, as John Francis said, it's the best show in the business. All right. Here we go. Is it finally Sierra Leone time? 7-2. Now, I remember the last race, the Jim Dandy. You correctly pointed out, Chad, that the problem with Sierra Leone in that race was that there were no pace setters, and that was going to work against Sierra Leone. And you were right. But this race, there are a bunch of them. And Sierra Leone continues to have an excellent line, John. It's done nothing wrong. Just looking at this year's line, 11, 8, 7, 6, 5. Hasn't won in the last 3 races. I say it's about time that Sierra Leone gets it done. And maybe this is the perfect race, too, because, as I said, there's a bunch of pace setters here.
Well, if Sierra Leone doesn't win Saturday, we're getting divorced. I've been betting this horse every single race since the Derby. And I just think, like you said, actually, if you go back to his starts as a 2-year-old, he's never gone backwards. Every single race is better than the last one. And you're right, there is speed in this race. Chad Brown even entered Unmatched Wisdom, who I think will be somewhat of a rabbit here. I don't know, Chad could correct me if I'm wrong. But that horse guarantees there will be pace in the race. The race sets up well for him. Really, last time I thought he was going to win because of the way the track was that day. It was not speed favoring, and you were able to win from behind. So for that reason, I was a little disappointed. However, the line on the sheets is just perfect, and I'm going to stay with this horse. And you really may get the 7-2 because they have Torpedo N to bet, they have Door Knock to bet, and they have, of course, Fierceness to bet. So you may get every bit of the 7-2, and I think that's more than a fair price.
The sheet line doesn't match up with the watching the race line.
Yeah,
Because
well,
I think anyone who's watched him has been very disappointed in Sierra Leone, no matter what he runs on the sheets. I think he lost the race last time because John Velasquez rode a brilliant race. I think that he forced Flavian Pratt to jump to the inside. This horse, if you watch his races, his victories come with that wide sweeping move that he needs to do. Can he win? Yeah. I mean, is it the story that nobody wants to root for? Sure. Is it Chad Brown wants to win the Travers more than any other race in his life? Yes. But I'm not sure that this is the horse that can do it. I think the horse you just mentioned might have a better shot to win this race than Sierra Leone.
All right, the 3 is Unmatched Wisdom. Another Chad Brown horse coming off an 11 in the win at Saratoga. The other 2 races over at Aqueduct. Wait, that was at Aqueduct, right? Or is that Belmont?
yes, Aqueduct.
Yeah, that's stupid BAQ.
It's Aqueduct at Belmont. Belmont hasn't been open for a while.
Yeah. Anyway, back-to-back 8s to start his career, then the 11.
Listen, the horse is 3 for 3, so the horse has never lost. However, if you're looking at numbers, and I look at numbers, he's just not as fast as Sierra Leone, and we don't know if he'll ever be as fast as Sierra Leone. So, again, he's 8-1. I think he's in the race to instill more speed into the race.
I think he's in the race to win.
Okay.
He won the prep. Look, I don't think he finds himself on the lead. I think that was strategy. If you watch the Curlin Stakes back, Flavian Pratt sends his ass out of the gate. He sends, and somehow it ends up slowing it down anyway. But it won him the race. This horse is tactical. He's a very, very good horse. I know he hasn't beaten anybody yet, and he's not going to be my top selection, but he's a must-use for me.
The 4 is Corporate Power, a 15-1 shot, getting Castellano again at 6 straight. Finally in single digits with the 9 in the last race at Saratoga, but this horse is going to need a much bigger effort than that.
Yeah, I don't like this horse. I think he's a little slow. And if you're looking for a 20-1 shot, the horse that Chad loved at Thistle Downs is the 5 batting down, and he's getting better with each start, and he certainly could make his presence felt. So I don't like Corporate Power.
He's got to switch his leads. He's got ability. It's there. Shug McGee's a Hall of Famer. He deserves one more bang, one more boom like this race. If Shug wins, I feel like it would be with, like when Alan Jerkins won with Emma's Encore. It would be pretty cool. And he can do it. He has the ability. but he's got to switch his leads. They put the blinkers on. They thought that was going to help two back. He won despite still switching slow. And last time it cost him the victory, and also Flavian Pratt's strategy. He's coming. I think he's one horse. I'm not concerned about getting the mile and a quarter distance, while some of these, I'm not sure they want to go a mile and a quarter. He'll be running to the wire, and I'm going to use him on all my tickets underneath, and I'll play him a little bit on top because I can see some scenarios where he finally figures it out. And for whatever reason, I think Castellanos won 8 Travers. He owns this race. They should rename this race when he retires the Javier Castellano. Nobody's won more Travers than him. With horses sometimes that didn't figure. He won with VE Day. He won this race last year with Arcangelo. He knows how to win this race.
All right, live long shot, corporate power. And speaking of live long shots, John, you've already tipped it off to Batten Down. And the sheet numbers over the last 4 races are 15, 10, 9, and 7. So that's an excellent line. The 7 was at Saratoga, finishing third behind Fierceness and Sierra Leone. So Batten Down is also a very live long shot to get in with your exactas.
Agree.
Agree to disagree. I think this is the pace setter in the race. I think they tried last time, similar to Danny Gargan tried Dornoch in the Bluegrass. They tried to take him back, and he did not want any part of it. He resented it. And I think they're going to have to send him. He was at his happiest and his most comfortable when he went wire to wire in Ohio. But that was different circumstances. He was loose on the lead. I don't see him making a loose lead here. I see him as a pace scenario, or pace involvement, and I don't think he really wants to go on a quarter. And I see him fading. I don't like this horse.
The 6 is a long shot. Anna Marie. We've talked about this horse enough, I guess. Yeah, no single-digit cheats for Anna Marie. Cheat numbers.
Not yet, but Saturday you'll see one maybe. I love this horse in the Derby. He had major, major trouble. I love the fact that Gaffleone is getting on this horse. I just think he's going to fit this horse really, really good. I don't think he's good enough to win, but I think he's good enough to get in, and he's going to be every bit of the 20 to 1 he's listed as. And if some of these horses stub their toe, and I expect some of them to, I think this horse has a shot to get a piece.
I like the fact that this is their plan. We've talked about Whit Bickman on the show before, former assistant for Todd Pletcher and Chad Brown. Certainly learned the ropes the right way. This has been his plan since the Belmont. He didn't want to prep. He didn't need a prep. He wanted to come in fresh for the Travers. I respect anybody that has a plan and tries to execute the plan. I don't think he's good enough.
And now we get to a couple of big ones here. Dornoch, 5-2. All of a sudden, he can do no wrong, winning the Belmont and the Haskell in back-to-back races. The 7 was at Belmont, but it actually ran a 9.
The 7 was at Saratoga in the Belmont. The race was run at Saratoga, but it was at Belmont.
Say that 3 more times.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a good point because again, that was Saratoga and coming back to Saratoga. But yeah, this horse is all of a sudden just dominating now.
Yeah, I never liked this horse. I still don't like this horse. He beats me. He beat me the last 2 times, and if he runs Saturday, he'll beat me again. But at 5-2, I don't think so.
I love the fight this horse shows. I don't care. I don't care about the odds. I don't care about the scenario, the race, and maybe he just owns mind frame. Maybe he just has mind frame's number because he beat him twice and he beat Sierra Leone in the Remsen. He's a fighter. He's a cool horse. I love the not so quiet confidence that Danny Gargan's had in him from the day he bought him to just talking to him today. I mean, the horse is training well. He's doing well. They have nothing to lose. The horse has won a Triple Crown race. He's got a stud deal in place. He's going to Spendthrift Farm at the end of the year, playing with house money. And I don't know that he needs the lead. He didn't have the lead last time. Cesar Gray was in front of him. I just got a feeling. I got a feeling that he's going to run another big race. He just shows up. And we can make excuses for why he ran poorly in the Bluegrass and the Derby.
And now we get to Fierceness, the 8-horse, the 3-1 shot, the horse that just can't run back-to-back good races. So we've got the career record of up and down. So we've got a 7 followed by a 21, a 5 followed by a 10, a 5 followed by a 20, and now a 3 followed by a
15. Listen, the horse is coming off of a 3 with no rest. No rest either. He just never listen, Chad said it best. He says when Fierceness wins next week, or last time he ran, I'm going to get to bet against him in the Travers. Well, I'm betting against him in the Travers. He wins, I'll be surprised. But listen, obviously no one else in the race has ever run a 3. The question is he going to be able to run the 3 without any time off? And again, we said it from the beginning. We said it I said it anyway in the Derby. He's never put 2 races together. Why is he good? And why do you want to play him now when he's going to be a short price? And he's never done it before. Again, he can make me look like an idiot and probably will, but I have no interest in betting that horse at a short price. I have no interest in betting that horse off of a 3 either.
He's such a cool horse. Look, we talked about Whit Beckman. We talked about Anna Marie. He's pointing to this race. He's here. After Fierceness won the Jim Dandy, Todd was non-committal about running this race. If anything, it sounded like he didn't want to run this race. Once Mind Frame went to the shelf with his bone bruising after the Haskell, and Rapoli finally decided to run that other horse in the maiden race. He won the off-the-turf maiden race Monte Quarter yesterday. Congratulations. That ran the Belmont Stakes. He needs a horse. And so Mind Frame is out. So Fierceness takes his spot. And he's doing well enough to run in this race. But I don't know that this is Todd Pletcher's plan. I think Todd Pletcher wanted to wait for the Pennsylvania Derby, have a fresh horse. He knows how fast he ran last time. This is a different race than the Jim Dandy. It sets up differently. Johnny won't be able to dictate turns the way he was last year. He outrode that field last time in the Jim Dandy. I think John Velasquez won the race just as much as Fierceness won the race. And I don't think he's going to have that opportunity on Saturday. So as much as I love the horse, he was my Derby pick. I'm not playing him in the Travers.
All right, then, John, you've got the 2 Sierra Leone over
1, 5, and 6. Torpedo Anna, Batted Down, and Anna Marie. 2 over 1, 5, 6.
Chad.
I didn't see this coming. I really didn't. I'm taking Corporate Power on top.
Oh,
I talked myself into it.
Very nice.
I just think this race could fall apart, and I can see Castellano once again winning the Castellano Stakes, and you're going to get a huge price in a season of upsets and a track that's known for Secretariat losing, Man of War losing, American Pharaoh losing. I can see it happening. So I'm going to take Corporate Power. I'm going to take him on top of Torpedo Anna, Dornock, and Unmatched Wisdom.
So 1, a 7, and a 3. I am going to do 2 over 4, 5, and 6. And we do have Ed wanted to ask you a question, Chad. Is Anna a bigger horse than Fierceness?
Yes. Yeah, and it's funny because Fast Anna is not very big. Her father is not a big horse, but maybe his mother saw the milkman. I don't know.
I'm going to, before I do the recap, next week we have Saratoga, of course. We have the Grade 1 Spin Away. We have the Grade 2 Flower Ball and the Grade 3 Prioress. But we also have Del Mar next week, the Grade 1 Pacific Classic. Hopefully they'll have a large field. Also the 2 Grade 2 races and 2 Grade 3 races. So a very big day at Del Mar next week with the Pacific Classic.
Don't forget about Del Mar for this week. Senior Buscador returns. from his Middle East adventures. So he runs
Against the
7
horse that
8s
never loses, Chosen
against
Vaughn.
the Chosen Bron.
Oh, very nice. What race is that?
Will the Chosen Bron scratch?
Oh.
No, why is he scratching? No, he's not scratching.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't hear that. Did you hear that?
I haven't heard anything, but he
Oh.
likes to run in races that he knows he can win.
The recap of the races, race number 10, and that is the Ballerina. John is going 3 over 258. Chad's going 5 over 318. I'm going with 5 over 7. The 11th race is the Forgo. John's going 8 over 367. Chad is going 6 over 51. I'm going 6 over 347. The 12th is the H. Allen Jerkins. John's going 5 over 411. Chad's going 2 over 510. And I'm going 8 over 1411. And in the Travers, John's going 2 over 156. Chad has 4 over 173. I have 2 over 456. And that's it for our live show, guys. I appreciate it. Chad, I know you. Oh, Chad's giving us a look-see at the barn. Very nice. Very cool. Can't wait to make my way up to New York to see you guys sometime in the next 5 or 10 years. John,
I thought you were coming this year. I guess we missed you.
That's what I thought too. But
all right, guys. Stay safe and be well. And thank you, everybody, for joining. And hit subscribe.
Yes.
Here in Jerusalem.
Thank you very much. And we'll talk to you guys again next week. And don't forget, Patreon. So I know we were able to put this together for a live show. All 4 races free here on YouTube. And this happens about 5 times a year. We do it, the Triple Crown. We do it here, even though we didn't plan on doing it here. But usually it's, Breeders' Cup. We'll be doing it for the Breeders' Cup as well. But normally on a regular week, don't forget, in order to get all of our race picks and analysis, you have to subscribe to our Patreon for just $5 a month. You got the link in the descriptions. I know it's not here right now because it's a live show, but anytime you can check out the links in our description pages of our shows. That'll get you right to the page where you can subscribe on Patreon. And if for some reason you don't want to subscribe there, then please subscribe here on YouTube, because that gets us a lot quicker to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, which means that every race will be available for free here on YouTube. So thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we will see you again real soon. Ed, appreciate it. And by the way, I'm not sure if you guys are football fans or not, college football or the NFL, but if you are, make sure to check out the Our Lads football channel. That's where I do I did a handicapping show earlier today with Mark Lawrence, who is like a legend in the industry. Matter of fact, this is his magazine right here. So this has been going on for 32 years. And Mark is again, he is the man in the industry that he's been in a lot of big events in Vegas. He has his own website at playbooksports.com. He has his own YouTube channel that I produce called Playbook Experts. And that's a Wednesday show that we do each week. It's not live, so it's usually available Wednesdays or Thursdays. And then you can check out the show I do with Mark. It's going to be every Thursday at 4 o'clock. That's going to be live on the Our Lads football channel. So for you football fans, if you like to wager on football, check it out. Mark and I, we just did a preview of the college football season earlier today. We're going to do a preview of the NFL season next Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern. And again, every Thursday, 4 o'clock, it's a live show, and it's on the Our Lads football channel. So check that out. And I'll definitely be putting links in the description for future shows since it's football season. And any questions you have for me for football season, college, pro, anything at all, futures, weekly games, things of that nature, I've got the ears of a lot of really big-time handicappers. And so I'm privy to a lot of information. So if you want to know what's going on, just ask. All right. So again, thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time here on